Ladies and gentlemen and fellow conservatives, thank you very much for being here today, and I'd like to thank President Mettler and the Board of Directors of the California Republican Assembly for inviting all of us to be here tonight to celebrate 75 years of conservative leadership on the part of the California Republican Assembly. When I was asked to speak tonight, I put some thought into just why it is that I'm a Republican, and more importantly, why it is that I'm a conservative, and why I identify with the goals of the California Republican Assembly. And it came down to two things: that there are two people in this world who are most responsible for my being a conservative. Number one was Jimmy Carter. And number two was my father. And I wanted to share with you tonight just why that is. My father grew up in Lower Saxony in Germany in poverty during the Depression and World War II Nazi Germany. And growing up in poverty, he finally found at the age of 18 a way to escape that poverty and leave that town by joining the German Merchant Marines. And as a member of the German Merchant Marines, my father toured the world: South America, the Caribbean, East Germany. In fact, he told a story about once visiting a port in East Germany and going to the Soviet-German Friendship Center for free drinks. And he said that for as long as he continued to say nice things about socialism, the drinks continued to flow to he and the members of his crew. So while he was in there, he told them all types of, "Oh, sure, socialism is fantastic," and they walk out the door and flip them the bird. But my father got an opportunity to see the entire world and all types of different systems in play over the course of 6 years. And when he left the German Merchant Marines after 6 years in 1960, and he met my mother, right after they got married, he determined that he wanted to raise his family in freedom. And of all of the countries he had seen, he decided that he was going to become not a German, but an American, and raise his family in freedom in the United States of America. And it is for that reason that I identify as conservative, because my father taught me that the things that make this country great, the things that made this country special and different from every country on earth, are those principles that are at the heart of our party: limited government, promoting personal responsibility, low taxes, a powerful national defense. And that distinguishes our country from every other place on earth. And that's something that's important. And I think the question that's before our country today is, are we going to continue to remain that country? We're going to continue to remain that shining city on a hill that inspires people to come to America where they can realize their dreams. And a year ago, under this administration, it didn't look like that would be the case. Barack Obama came into office with a 68% approval rating, unless you watch MSNBC, in which case it was a 108% approval rating. Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Harry Reid took control of both ends of Pennsylvania Avenue. The liberal pundits and politicians proclaimed that the conservative movement was dead. The Republican Party was relegated to a regional party, unable to win elections outside of the South. But boy, what a difference a year makes. It is amazing what a failed stimulus bill, cap and trade, an attempted government takeover of health care, and higher taxes, bigger, more annoying government, and government takeover of auto companies can do to change a political environment. Ladies and gentlemen, the conservative movement today has been re-energized. The Republican Party has been reunited. The 68% approval rating that Barack Obama enjoyed back in January has evaporated. Today, his approval rating stands at 45%. Barack Obama has had the steepest decline in presidential approval since they've been tracking presidential approval. When the Democrats assumed control of both ends of Pennsylvania Avenue, they had a 10-point lead in the generic ballot test. They don't have a 10-point lead in the generic ballot test anymore. Today, it is Republicans who lead by 9 percentage points in generic ballot strength. And we see these incredible gains. Virginia, New Jersey. We won the governorship in New Jersey. There aren't even any Republicans in New Jersey. But think about this. Think about this. We are where we are today in large part because Barack Obama, Rahm Emanuel, Harry Reid, and Nancy Pelosi made a fundamental error in interpreting the 2008 election. They thought that the American people had fundamentally shifted to the left with the election of Barack Obama and Joe Biden. But that is not true. America remains a center-right country. It was a center-right country then. It remains a center-right country today. It's just that the Republican Party needs to offer the leadership and the principles necessary to be the viable alternative, the true agents of change, and offer that to America. Think about how different in a place we would be today if the Democrats had done the following. What if instead of an $800 billion stimulus bill, they had passed a stimulus bill that was half as large but made the Bush tax cuts permanent for people making under $150,000 a year? I'll bet 100 Republican House members would have voted for that. What if instead of cap and trade, the Democrats had pushed some narrowly tailored tax breaks for putting up windmills or solar panels? I'll bet 100 House Republicans would have voted for that as well. What if instead of taking the U.S. healthcare system and putting the same bureaucrats who run the DMV in charge of deciding whether you get an MRI, instead of that approach, what if they had adopted a narrowly focused health care bill that was specifically aimed at some of the failures of our health insurance system and got 10 million more Americans health insurance? I'll bet 100 Republicans would have voted for that as well. And where would we be today? Barack Obama's approval rating would be in the high 50s. We still would have won the Virginia governor's race, but we would have lost New Jersey. And a woman named Martha Coakley would be sitting in the United States Senate seat from Massachusetts today. So I would like to thank Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Harry Reid for helping to make these Republicans' gains possible over the course of the last year. Ladies and gentlemen, the conservative movement has been re-energized. We see it on television all of the time. You see it with how the news media, particularly on MSNBC and very often on CNN, deride the Tea Party movement, look for any opportunity to dismiss it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Republican Party that takes the Speaker's gavel back from Nancy Pelosi will be a stronger and it will be a more principled party than the one that lost it to Nancy Pelosi, and that is because of this movement. Going forward, I can't think of a better way to end this year in California than by defeating Jerry Brown for governor and by finally sending a new United States Senator to Washington instead of Barbara Boxer. These victories will be possible because of the people who are gathered in this room. People like Assembly Republican leader Martin Garrick, who's here today. People like Michelle Steele on the State Board of Equalization. People like Senator Sam Onestad. People like Ventura County Chairman Mike Osborne and Peter Foy from the Ventura County Board of Supervisors. We have tremendous talent in this party. We have tremendous talent in this movement, and I'm looking forward to working with you in not only celebrating 75 years of conservative leadership, but in ending this year with a new crop of conservative Republican leaders in Sacramento to guide this state forward, and a new crop of conservative Republican leaders in Washington to take back that Speaker's gavel from Nancy Pelosi. Congratulations on 75 years of leadership, and here's to 75 more years of conservative leadership from the California Republican Assembly. Thank you.